Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Welcome back to another edition of the Unbiased Truth with the IBFP, and let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And the first question comes from CN Bravo, and he states, what are your thoughts on Vergil Ortiz fighting David Evanesian to become the mandatory for Errol Spence? I think that's excellent, and this is what Vergil Ortiz has actually been waiting for. Unfortunately, Vergil Ortiz does have a return fight scheduled for January 22nd. Should he get past that victoriously, then he will fight David Evanesian. So he has two fights already lined up for 2022. So, Vergil Ortiz being very active next year, and we don't know if he's going to end the year with 3 or 4 fights. What we do know is he does have 2 fights scheduled already. One in January with an unnamed opponent, and then a title eliminator with David Evanesian to get his shot at Errol Spence Jr. through the WBC. Now, the interesting thing is the reason why Vergil Ortiz is so active is because, it's rumored that he's signed with trainer Eddie Reynoso, according to Mike Coppinger with ESPN, and that's an excellent move for Vergil Ortiz should it actually become official. I think it makes sense because if you look at a guy like Eddie Reynoso, he likes to keep his fighters in the gym and keep his fighters active. He wants to get the most out of his fighters. And not only that, for Vergil Ortiz, when you look at the welterweight division, you see that he's been chasing down the champions, and getting this title eliminator puts him one step closer to finally getting his shot. But let's keep it going. And the next question comes from Fighting Champions, and he states, who will Canelo fight after Makabu? Do you think he'll stay at 200 pounds, or do you think he'll go down at 175 or 168? Salute to you, Nuke. Salute to you, Fighting Champions. I appreciate it, my brother. And look, you've seen Canelo Alvarez recently come out and state that he expects to be at 180 pounds for the Makabu fight. So he's not even getting all the way up to 200 pounds. Canelo Alvarez will not be at the cruiserweight limit for that fight. He simply can't do it. So 180 pounds, he's really close to making 175 after that fight, and he should still be able to easily make 168 pounds. So I don't think any of that is a big issue for Canelo Alvarez at all, making 175 or 168. As far as who Canelo Alvarez will fight next after Makabu, Eddie Reynoso has already stated that the candidates to face Canelo Alvarez in 2022 is going to be Beterbiev, Bivol, Charlo, and Benavidez. So it's obviously going to be one or two of those opponents, because you've also seen that Eddie Reynoso stated that Canelo Alvarez will fight up to 3 times in 2022. So I wouldn't be surprised if he fights one of these guys at 175 and another at 168. But let's keep it going. The next one comes from Thomas, and he states, a lot of people are saying that Jaime Munguia isn't ready for Triple G, yet Triple G is almost 40 years old. So when will he be ready? When Triple G is 50? Please address this. Look, let me break it down. Jaime Munguia has shown that he's ready for Triple G, at least as ready as we've ever seen him. With his victory over Gabe Rosado, I thought he showed vast improvements, and training with Mexican Hall of Fame legend Eric Morales has really helped his game. Now, Jaime Munguia even believes he's ready, stating that I'm ready for Gennady Golovkin immediately after the fight, and calling out Gennady Golovkin. Should Gennady Golovkin be successful beating Murata next? Jaime Munguia would love to get that fight with Golovkin, but it's simply up to Gennady Golovkin whether that fight happens or not. If Golovkin wants it, it'll happen. If he doesn't, it will not happen. Gennady Golovkin calls all the shots, especially at this stage in his career. Not only that, if Jaime Munguia doesn't get that fight, that's still not an issue. Jaime Munguia is actually still going to be set to face Sergey Derevyanchenko in the WBC final eliminator to determine Jamal Charlo's next mandatory. So Jaime Munguia is on a path to a world title regardless if Triple G fights him or not. The next question comes from Vale, and he states, Nuke, what will the haters say after Bud makes Sean Porter look like an amateur? Basically saying, Bud will make Sean Porter easy work. It's possible, but, I'm not sure if he can. I mean, look at it like this. Sean Porter is an elite welterweight. He's a proven welterweight, and no welterweight has ever made Sean Porter look like an amateur. No welterweight has ever made easy work of Sean Porter. He's never been dominated by any fighter throughout his entire career. Every fight that he's ever lost has been controversial. So let's be honest and unbiased. Sean Porter is no easy fight for anyone. So if Bud Crawford goes in there and makes the fight looks easy, he goes in there, dominates this guy, and makes him look like an amateur, then Bud Crawford will prove to the world that, not only is he one of the best fighters in the world, but he'll actually have the legitimate name on his resume to back it up. The one thing he's been missing. Because men lie, women lie, but the facts don't lie.